The story everyone is talking about in the US today, and we have the latest updates right here. Welcome to USA News. If you don't want to miss what happens next, subscribe now. Here is what we know so far. Supreme Court makes major tariff decision. What it means for Trump's trade agenda and American consumers. A major Supreme Court decision could have enormous consequences for America's economy, international trade, and the future of President Donald Trump's tariff strategy. In a move that is already generating intense debate in Washington and across the business community, the nation's highest court has declined to hear a challenge to tariffs imposed on Chinese imports during Trump's first administration. While the decision may sound technical, its impact could be felt by businesses, consumers, and global markets for years to come. And perhaps most importantly, it may provide a roadmap for how the Trump administration plans to move forward after suffering a significant legal setback earlier this year. The controversy centers around tariffs first imposed on Chinese imports in 2018. Those tariffs were introduced under the Trade Act of 1974, a law that gives the United States authority to respond to unfair trade practices by foreign countries. A group of American businesses, including flooring and electronics companies, challenged those tariffs in court, arguing that the government expanded them far beyond what Congress originally intended. The companies claimed the tariffs had become part of an open-ended trade conflict that ultimately increased costs for businesses and consumers alike. According to opponents of the tariffs, American consumers are still paying a significant price through higher costs on imported goods. However, the Supreme Court declined to review a lower court ruling that upheld the tariffs. That means the existing duties remain in place. More importantly, it signals that the administration may continue relying on the Trade Act as it develops new trade policies. The timing of this decision is critical. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court struck down a separate set of Trump tariffs that had been imposed using emergency powers. That ruling was viewed as a major setback for the administration's broader economic agenda. Now, with this latest decision, attention is shifting toward alternative legal pathways the administration could use to pursue its trade goals. Trade experts note that using the Trade Act requires investigations, fact-finding efforts, and public hearings. But once that process is completed, it may still allow the government to impose substantial tariffs on imports from other countries. The administration argues that such authority is necessary to respond to changing trade conditions and protect American interests. Reaction to the ruling has been mixed. Supporters of stronger trade policies argue that tariffs remain an important tool for protecting American industries and addressing unfair foreign practices. Critics, however, warn that tariffs often increase costs that are ultimately passed on to consumers. Business groups involved in the lawsuit say the decision leaves unanswered questions about how far future administrations can go when expanding tariffs after they are initially imposed. Many economists are now watching closely to see whether new tariffs could be introduced in the months ahead. The administration has already proposed additional trade measures targeting imports from dozens of countries. If implemented, those policies could generate billions of dollars in new revenue and potentially offset losses resulting from previous court rulings. For many Americans, the debate comes down to a simple question. Do tariffs protect jobs and strengthen the economy, or do they increase prices and create new financial burdens for consumers? That debate is likely to intensify as new trade proposals emerge. The Supreme Court's decision may not have dominated headlines like other major cases, but its consequences could be far-reaching. By allowing the 2018 China tariffs to remain in place, the court has preserved a powerful trade tool that could play a central role in future economic policy. For businesses, consumers, and global trading partners, the message is clear: the battle over tariffs is far from over. And as the Trump administration explores its next moves, the future of American trade policy remains one of the most closely watched stories in Washington.